Hello, today we're going to be talking about an incredibly influential mangaka and manga series that had anime adaptations. We're going to be talking about Berserk. So this is the illustrations file for Berserk. For those who don't know, Berserk is a dark medieval fantasy manga written by Kentaro Miura, and Miura passed away this year, which is incredibly unfortunate because he was just an incredible inspiration and had a tremendous influence on people in manga as well as other forms of entertainment. Things like the Dark Souls games, and you'll find his inspiration and his art in all kinds of entertainment. Previously I did a video covering Game of Thrones and how influential that was. Well, Berserk is kind of like the anime manga equivalent of Game of Thrones. And so for anybody who likes Game of Thrones, you might be interested in Berserk. Now, it isn't as much about different families. It's more focused on a single group of individuals and their kind of stories and interactions. And so Berserk had a controversial anime adaptation, and it's kind of confusing if you want to get into Berserk from anime. If you read the manga, then it's more straightforward. But in terms of anime, there was the original anime, which is the 1997 one, and that was well done, but it didn't age well in terms of the art. Miura's art is great, but the art for that anime, it just didn't age well through the years, and looking back, it's difficult to watch. So you know, there's other anime of like Gundam 08, which still looks very nice. Berserk doesn't look that great, but the characters and the story and that all of that is still great. So that's actually the best way to get into the Berserk anime would be the 1997 anime, and that covers the Golden Arc. Now you can also watch the three movies, the three Golden movies, which basically do the same thing as the anime, but they have different things with pacing going on. They have a little bit of 3D. Start off worse, and then the movies get better. Personally, I still prefer the 97 anime because it just has more soul and flavor to it, and it gets into things better. And so that's what I did. I watched the 97 anime, then I watched the Golden movies, and then there's also the 2016 anime, which continues the events of the Golden Age. And then there's the 2017 anime, which continues that further. Now, 2016 and 2017 anime are pretty poor anime adaptations. They have a tremendous amount of 3D, and they're notorious for being a bad execution of 3D in anime. So be warned that that is a bit of a disappointment. Anyway, let's get into this book. So there are several books for Berserk. I picked this one because I thought it had the most vibrant art and just a lot of variety. It's not a very thick book, as you can tell. It's not that many pages, but just has that style. Berserk is very dark. It's an adult manga, adult anime with a lot of adult themes. So something to bear in mind. It's gritty. It doesn't hold back. Now the Golden Age is my personal favorite, and what makes the Golden Age so great is it's not dark, you know, like it's still dark, but the magic and the supernatural is in check, and it's really more about character development and this mysterious world, and that's the kind of stuff that I personally really like. So the 97 anime, the first episode is actually not really indicative of how the Golden Age arc unfolds. In fact, when I watched the very first episode, I thought, oh, this is just rough and mindless, and I dropped it. But then starting from episode 2, it's completely different, and you gotta watch it, because that's where it's a night and day experience. Of course, things I mean, as you can tell from the first episode, things do end up in that space eventually, but I really liked the Golden Age. Bailet. See, the Bailet was one of the few supernatural things for the majority of the Golden Age arc. You know, there was a couple demon sightings here and there, but it wasn't all that wasn't all that crazy. Yeah, the story of Guts' birth is pretty dark. It's hard to open the book, so bear with me. Try my best to show the art as nicely as possible. And when the show started, I wasn't too fond of Guts, because I thought he kind of lacked depth, and I didn't feel like his strive for purpose, it didn't make sense. But at a certain point in the show, you really start to understand Guts, and that's where he really grew and became interesting for me. And unfortunately, some of the other characters, they got ruined for me. I won't say who, but some of the more significant characters. One in particular who was quite empowered, and through events lost that power, and their personality got ruined. That's one character. And then the other character whose decision changed them so much that their actions afterwards didn't make sense. Their decision kind of made some sense, but afterwards the change didn't. And so that's unfortunate. Now with Berserk, there is a lot of merchandise and things you can get. There are several books, like I mentioned. This is the one that appealed to me the most. But there is also a lot of figurines. Now with the figurines, there's definitely a variety in quality and size and everything. There's a lot of really small, bad ones that almost look like knockoffs. Even if they're legitimate, they're just really old and poor quality figurines. And then there's also some really nice large ones, but they're incredibly expensive. So what's unfortunate is there really isn't a lot of in between for you know, an average size figure with great quality, and it's not too expensive. At least I couldn't find one. If there are any nice ones, any figures you personally like, let me know in the comments below. And there's also a video game for Berserk. I haven't played it yet, but I'm interested in checking it out. The reviews are sort of mixed for it. I like this art here. This is you know, real simple black and white. Shows all the details of Miura's art. So you really get a sense of the quality of the art, the personality showing through the expressions, all the details. This just had such a big impact on all the dark fantasy series going forward. You know, the symbols, the imagery, a lot of the references. It's an incredibly iconic series. Hopefully there's not too much in the way of spoilers in this art book for those who haven't seen the series yet and want to. Should mention that the Golden Age movies are available on Netflix, so if having a hard time finding Berserk and that's available to you, that might be a way to get into it. So much high action. Look at this. Look at these moments. Incredibly intense. It's a real shame that Miura passed away. As health-related complications, and hasn't been too much information as to what happened. You know, if it had anything to do with overworking lifestyle and all that, because the industry is unfortunate, rampant with overwork and stressful deadlines. And even as incredibly successful as he was, and you know, he went on hiatus a lot. For those who don't know, hiatus means taking a break to you know, gather thoughts and continue a series and all that. And there's a tremendous amount of pressure for Berserk, you know, being so iconic and having so many fans, and so to deliver on that. So much going on in these pages. I personally wasn't too fond of the direction that things went in Golden Age, because I liked the Golden Age for what it was. and what the characters were. But it's definitely impactful and predictable, but still unexpected. This book is covering things beyond just the Golden Age. So you might be seeing characters here that aren't familiar to you, and they come later. It was a long interview. Wish I could read that. I'll try to get this translated. Really interesting to know. I wonder if there's an English equivalent. I don't believe there is an English equivalent of this book. It's only Japanese, but it's nice to have a representation of Berserk on my shelf, because it's a genre that I like. And a series that's very impactful. And there's a biography, I'm guessing, about Miura too. Be nice to understand that as well. Oh, and there's a part here that flips open. It's a book. Get that out of there. And try to flip this now. Guts in the demon. So it's nice having this flip section at the end here. And there we go. This is Berserk illustration file. If you haven't seen Berserk, do give it a try. It might not be for everybody, but it's worth trying, and you know, just to understand that the legacy that this work has left behind. Let me know what you liked about Berserk, and what your thoughts are on the adaptations in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.